few years ago, I decided that I need to sort out things in my life, not just in my head, going to therapy, journaling, etc., but also in my surroundings. That really hit me. Tidying up isn't only about thoughts, it's also about things. Everything is connected. The space around us reflects what's inside of us. My life has been a string of moves, suitcases, and boxes, and of course, my belongings traveled with me, and the ones that did not really fit in my lifestyle ended up stored with my parents in Riga. And for a long time, like neither of us knew how to part with things. In our mindset, letting go of useful items felt almost like a crime. Throwing them away felt wasteful. One day, I realized what's accumulated needs to be released. And I learned to trade it. Yeah, exactly. I would leave a box on the street, and in my mind, I would exchange it for something I wanted. Sometimes it was something specific, sometimes it was just lightness or space for new. This isn't a scientific method, it's my own personal spiritual practice. Maybe magic, but I believe in magic and it works for me. In 2019, I had a story where my parents were moving to a new apartment in Riga. They rented a small moving van, way too small for all of their belongings. And the movers had to make several trips. That was that much stuff. My mom and dad, they were staying in old place while I sat down in the new place receiving the deliveries. So at some point, the movers brought the carpets. So those very same Persian carpets that people in Eastern Europe in the 90s hung on their walls. Now it's an internet meme, but my sister and I, we had taken them down from walls in our teens and we hid them behind the couch. But we could not convince the parents to throw them out. And yet, these carpets were there again in the new apartment. You know, I couldn't resist and I called my mom and I was like, Mom, it seems like there is a mistake here. And she was like, What? And I was like, I didn't know that the carpets are moving too. And she was like, Yeah, but they're Yugoslavian. Yugoslavian. This country does not exist anymore. And I'm like, Mom, you're saying like if it's like an Armani home collection, you know? I'll ask the guys to bring it down to the dumpster. Mom was like, Yeah, okay, fine. And you know what? Later, my mom really thanked me more than once for that very strict face control. She said that the air felt different in the new lighter space. So now every time I visit Riga, she smiles and says, So glad we threw out the carpets. Do you know that feeling after a big cleanup when suddenly it feels easier to breathe? The room is the same, the walls are the same, but inside it's as if space has opened up. The same happens in our minds. So, order outside influences order inside. This isn't just a poetic metaphor. Neuroscience backs it up. There is a 2011 Princeton University study and showed that chaos around us competes for our attention with whatever we're trying to focus on. So the brain has to spend more resource filtering out background noise, which makes us tire faster and become less productive. So if you want to focus to the best of your ability and process information as effectively as possible, you need to clear the clutter from your home and your work environment. So, clearing out your things, cleaning up your digital space, reassessing your environment is not just tidying up, it's a genuine act of inner hygiene. One of the most vivid memories from the start of my transformation was freeing up physical space. That day, my parents helped me haul away very big bags of clothes and shoes, like even luxury brands. Once I treasured so much, but at that moment, making money and selling them online did not really matter. What was matter was letting go. And I felt that those things actually had to leave me because they were connecting me somehow with the past. It connected me with my divorce, with my heartbreaking engagement with someone who had narcissistic personality disorder. So look at your clothes, shoes, and the objects around you. Which ones haven't you used in the last couple of years? Which ones still speak to you? And which ones actually weigh you down? By letting go of excess, you reduce the micro triggers on your nervous system. Psychologists call this the cognitive load effect. The more stimuli around you, the higher your background stress. Also, our smartphones. Our smartphones deserve a special attention in cleaning up our lives. Yes, our smartphones hold hundreds of photos, messages, contacts, notes. The studies show that even a single notification flashing on your screen can break your concentration and lower your productivity by up to 40%. Clean up your digital world. Delete all chats, useless notes, duplicate notes. The mind does not differentiate between real and digital clutter. It reacts to both the same way. And when you have focused time, switch off those notifications. The hardest part of any transformation is reviewing your circle of relationships. Some people have long lost emotional connection with us, but they continue to occupy space in our lives out of habit, duty, or fear of loneliness. Psychology tells us that our social environment directly affects our emotional state and self esteem. Research shows that having negative or toxic people in your closest circle can fuel anxiety, imposter syndrome, and even depression. Not every relationship should be cut off, of course, but you have to ask yourself honestly, does this person give me energy or take it away? And for a long time, I believed that every person in my life was meant to be there forever, that it was fate, that I had to endure, forgive, and hold on. Only years later did I understand some connections end because we grow. When I began letting go of people with whom there was no longer connection, honestly, I felt the same lightness as after decluttering my home. I would begin to breathe again. And in the new space, without excess belongings, without information junk, without outdated connections, suddenly came the energy I had been searching for all along, my energy of life.